I mean, it's like with everything, breath work, Dr. Joe Dispenza, all these things. I have no doubt really anymore that these things work. It's just more, okay, what do I want to do with my life? Do I want for the rest of my life do a Dr. Joe Dispenza meditation every day or on a regular basis and have to do breath work to feel good? Because then it's like a crutch. I kind of want to test if it's true what Detlef says, that, you know, emotional processing may be a harder and slower and longer path, but when you actually walk that path, it is the most effortless path ultimately. So at some point you won't have to do anything. You don't have to breathe, you don't have to even meditate. I just wanted to capture this moment in my little self-hosted retreat, because it's been kind of all over the place. I've had some great moments in meditation. I've had some wonderful walks where I felt pretty connected and quiet inside. There were great insights while listening to the Surrender Experiment from Michael A. Singer. And while watching a YouTube video, there has been a great emotional release. There's also been a great emotional release when I was still working, not officially entered into a retreat during a Detlef session. And now I'm not quite sure where to go from here, because I feel like I'm not quite sure if I'm wasting my time, because I don't really have the energy to really apply myself in this setting of a solo meditation retreat. I think my motivation for meditation and going deep with it and this whole kind of yogi thing is really at an all-time low. I really don't see a point for it. I can't really feel it. So it's like there's a big resistance. And now while I'm saying it, it sounds like, okay, maybe to make that hoop over it, I shouldn't be waiting to feel inspired and in touch and connected to do spiritual practice, but maybe it's the other way around, where maybe it's time for more Dr. Joe Dispenza meditations and feeling that inspiration and gratitude, and then that being a perpetual fire. And the thing is, well, I'm not sure if that's actually the best thing to do right now, because even though I'm pretty certain that I would feel a lot better if I did the Dr. Joe Dispenza meditations every day. Right now I'm not doing them at all. I also took a walk the other day and I really felt the relief in being able to just allow my dissatisfaction to fully unfold this week and not prep myself up or cut myself off, right? I've heard someone say, if you're on a down, if someone is on a down, don't get them out of it and get them into a good mood again. Let them hit rock bottom, and then from there, they can come back up. Because if you catch them beforehand, they haven't gone through what they needed to go through, so they'll just go back down. So that's kind of a little bit what I'm thinking, is that, I know short term, I will definitely feel better now if I do the Dr. Joe Dispenza thing, but it's kind of dissatisfying to see how temporary it is. Like, yes, I did the Dr. Joe Dispenza advanced week-long workshop 3 months ago, and it was amazing, and it changed my life, I'd say. The entire first half of the year, or the year prior to it, I felt I was overworked, kind of burnt out, felt really shitty a lot of times, even though I was in paradise. And that, I feel like, really lifted me out of all those afflictions of my personhood. And it was great to get out of it. And then afterward, I felt a lot more happy. And I was like, whoa, how is it possible? Like, within just a month or a week, I turned my life around basically 180 degrees emotionally. So afterward, I was so much more happy. I had states where I would just sit at a table with friends and it felt like I had taken MDMA and I couldn't even almost answer because I was just laughing. And that was great. And it was great, but it passed. It passed as I stopped the meditations. Now I remember the time where I enthusiastically recorded a video where I thought, oh, I finally have the breakthrough and the reconciliation of processing these emotions and also creating these states with Dr. Joe Dispenza, because these states were basically the love and inspiration, the reason why to go through the emotional processing, through the tough times, and let go of the resistance, because you have seen the light, you have created the light. But then, Detlef comes into my head and says, hey, yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, it's like with everything, breath work, Dr. Joe Dispenza, all these things, I have no doubt really anymore that these things work. It's just more, okay, what do I want to do with my life? Do I want for the rest of my life do a Dr. Joe Dispenza meditation every day or on a regular basis and have to do breath work to feel good? Because then it's like a crutch. I kind of want to test if it's true what Detlef says, that emotional processing may be a harder and slower and longer path, but when you actually walk that path, it is the most effortless path ultimately. So at some point you won't have to do anything. You don't have to breathe, you don't have to even meditate, you don't have to do gratitude and do all this effort to get into a good state, because you are naturally in a good state, because you have processed everything that was blocking your true natural quote-unquote good state. So that's an interesting theory. I don't think it's all the same, breathwork and Dr. Joe Dispenza. I think these have different mechanisms and pros and cons, but that's interesting. So right now I'm kind of daring to see if I can, all right, instead of hyping myself up and making myself feel good with Dr. Joe Dispenza, why not just allow myself to be in a sloppy, to fully allow these emotions and open up to them. But then I notice when I sit there that with that, it's not strictly that. It's not just strictly pain process and emotional feeling. A lot of it is then so much tiredness and sloppiness comes up, and not laziness, but almost a depressive mood, letting the clothes lie around, not having any motivation to do anything. And that may be swinging the pendulum too far in one direction. And I feel like it's actually more effective to process emotions when you're in a high energy state rather than in such a low energy state. Now, I remember Detlef saying once that if you feel sloppy, just allow yourself to be sloppy and then let that kind of run out, because at some point you won't be sloppy forever. But I don't know about that. I think you can go down a downward spiral and just build up more and more resistance and tense up more and more and dig yourself a hole. So sure, ultimately, the real solution at that moment is feeling, similar to how Eckhart Tolle had his enlightenment, where he was suicidal and in a bathtub about to kill himself. And then in that moment, he dropped all resistance and had his enlightenment. I don't know if that's necessary, if that's it's funny because I can watch my little human struggle with this situation, and the funny thing is there are insights about all is already known. And the funny thing is also, I think that some of the insights I'm having right now, which might seem not that big, they might in retrospect look a lot bigger. That was similar also, or a lot more impactful and valuable. There was also in the Vipassana retreats with some of the first insights of seeing the I thought and so on. And sometimes when insights reveal themselves for the first time, they don't seem that big, but then, it was literally an insight you had for the first time. So usually it is. You might see myself, I'm not feeling well. I also felt health-wise very exhausted. I've been sleeping a lot. I've been nauseous. I've been kind of sick. Could be emotional root cause, might not be, in the sense that I can see the perspective that everything has an emotional or pain root cause. But I can also see the perspective of, bro, it's just a fucking virus you caught. And the thing is, I remember the times when I do have clarity and I'm like, oh, how can I bring this together? How can I bring the part of me that sometimes is so clear, so connected, so inspired together with that part that is completely just, all right, fuck life, you know, I'm just gonna be a depressed messy, you know? How can I bring these parts together? I want to unify them, right? I don't want to switch back and forth, because then it feels like, okay, you are kind of lying to yourself, because I feel like the fully open, inspired, connected state is not real if it keeps oscillating and fluctuating back and forth, you know? It's like, it's just pretending, you know, it's just an escaping from the state that it's not gone, right? You know, if you come back to a sloppy, depressed or whatever state, it was just a temporary escape, you know, it was always there. It was just suppressed in that time. But then it's also the other way around. It's that when you are sloppy and depressed, that's also not really real. It's also just a disconnection from the truth, which is that actually you are free. So it's both true. Yes, on the one hand, you are free. Yes, it's true that on the other hand, you are in bondage, but neither of them are also true because you haven't fully integrated them. So it's like, I have glimpses in the sloppy state where I'm like, oh wow, I'm really just pretending to be sloppy and in a low mood, low energy mood. Like, if I wanted to, I could literally just make the choice to now completely blast open into bliss and have, you know, divine energy flow through, open up. I challenged myself. I was like, hey, am I just now kind of, you know, making shit up, and is it just fanciful thinking? So I tuned into that knowing, and then I started getting a little bit high and things started opening up a little bit, but then it wouldn't blast through like I just talked about. So I didn't fully give myself that permission slip or allowed myself to experience it, but it went into that direction, which was quite interesting. So I don't think it's complete BS, but I don't know if it's completely true because I haven't fully exercised my free will in that moment. Anyway, really, to fully actualize that, I want to have access in these moments to that, so they can fully meet, so they can fully see each other and become one. And I guess Detlef would say it's, yeah, you unify your different parts through the pain process, which means allowing that part which is in pain to come forth. So I guess I'm doing the right thing by allowing myself to sink into the dissatisfaction or letting it out fully instead of shutting the door by focusing on happiness and doing Dr. Joe Dispenza meditations. So it can come out and be met and greeted. But I wish I could do that while still having a bigger perspective. But it's really, yeah, I don't know. I should probably just meditate more and think about it less, but it's really hard to meditate in a disturbed state. So I guess it's maybe more a cycling that I could do. It's like, all right, meditate as much as you can. And if you can't meditate no more, walk. And then go back to meditation. And in meditation, if you feel like you are hitting a wall, you can apply a different technique, or you can switch positions, or you can just do strong determined sitting with resolve. I just feel like right now there's no backbone. There's really no backbone, and again, like motivation to do it, you know, especially stuff like concentration meditation. But even feeling requires you to do nothing and not completely get lost in thought. But right now it's like, okay, I'm so sloppy, I would just go and be lost in thought and then get annoyed and then at some point be, okay, fuck this. So it's kind of a weird situation. So that's where I'm at. Just wanted to document that. and see what may conspire. Future Eric, if you're watching this, maybe you can. Okay, future self. I think what I am now learning is that when stuck or feeling like too pressed against the screen and lacking perspective and space, all that can be re-inflated or gotten back in touch with through reading really wise and inspiring books. It's really putting oneself regularly back in touch with these fascinating, deeply fascinating philosophers and mystics and masters in whatever quote unquote vertical that we're in, and be drenched in wisdom. It's so deeply tranquil, it's so soothing, it's so directing, it's so rooting, and it's a real love affair, really. Philosophia, the love of wisdom. If we don't have the fortune to be living full-time with a guru and have that person be on our side, if we are a solo seeker, even if we have someone who we see twice a week as a teacher, just regularly reminding ourselves and creating these support systems for ourselves, so that we have the ultimate guru with us and his channels into our life, be it through a book, be it through a movie, be it through a documentary, which might not even be about spirituality, could even be about politics, but if it inspires us, if it sparks passion in us to serve or to go deeper, to sharpen our presence and sober our minds, then we get all we need. It's basically like, do we get the juice? Do we get the fuel to keep going? Sometimes it's really nice to run low just to test our limits. But at some point, we've met our limits and we know, okay, fuck, right now I'm actually kind of going. And what I'm about to share, what happened next, is really just to inspire you so you know that this is possible and that people are not pulling this out of thin air, that there's really substance to it, right? What happened is really something that reignited my fascination